Good morning, y'all. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart this morning. This morning's real talk is from Joshua chapter 24, verses 14 and 15. And these are the last words of Joshua, Joshua's last words. And I was just thinking about that this morning and how important, right? How important these last words are. And then I was thinking about, man, what would my last words be? What would I want my last message, my last words to be? To my family, to my friends, to the church, to the world, man, what would my last words be? And man, when I see Joshua here, man, he is bringing a great word. And I want to read this from both the New King James Version and the New Living Translation. It says, "Now therefore fear the Lord, serve him in sincerity." That means in genuineness, right? In reality, authenticity, right? Be authentic as you serve the Lord, and in truth, honesty, and put away the gods, right? Put away the idols which your fathers served on the other side of the river and in Egypt. Serve the Lord. It's emphatic. Serve Yahweh, man. Exclamation point. And if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And then the New Living Translation says, "So fear the Lord and serve him wholeheartedly. Put away forever the idols your ancestors worshipped when they lived beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt. Serve the Lord alone." It's emphatic. Serve the Lord exclusively, solely, only. "But if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today whom you will serve. Would you prefer the gods of your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or will it be the gods of the Amorites in whose land you now live? But as for me and my family," he says, "we will serve the Lord." And so these are Joshua's last words, man. It's a call to make up the mind once and for all, man. Who are you going to fear? Who are you going to serve wholeheartedly, exclusively? Are you going to serve yourself? You just going to live for yourself? Are you going to live for the idols? Or are you going to live for your pagan past, right? He tells them that, man, that the gods that your culture used to serve, man, the pagan idols, right? The lifeless things. Or are you going to serve the Lord? And that's what Joshua calls them to, right? Listen, he calls them to once and for all make up their mind on who they're going to serve. No more waffling, no more wavering, man, once and for all making up their mind. Now, he says, are you going to serve the Lord? Right? Serving the Lord, I want you to see there, it flows from a heart that fears the Lord. That's why he begins this whole thing with fear the Lord, and then he talks about serving. Because, listen, a person will not serve the Lord if they do not fear the Lord. And sometimes you ask, man, why don't more people serve the Lord? Why aren't some people serving the Lord? It's because, listen, there is absent from their heart a genuine, deep, profound reverence for God. Because if it was there, then they would serve the Lord. Man, that fear of the Lord, that respect and that reverence and awe for God would lead them to laying their life down and serving the Lord exclusively, wholeheartedly. And that's what we see here in this text, man. And the cool thing about it is that, listen, the come away is this, man. To fear the Lord is to serve the Lord. To fear the Lord is to serve the Lord. And the two are inseparable. The awesome thing about it is that when you read the end of this chapter, it says that Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua. And it says, and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua. Now, why is that important? Because, again, we're talking about the last words of the head of the house. We're talking about the last words of the one who was the head of the nation, who God had used and God had raised up to lead his people in the new life, right, into the new land. Now, this is what I want to close with, you guys, is that the man of the house in each generation must choose to make the Lord the head of his house. I want you to hear this. The man of the house, the husband, the dad, the grandpa, right, the uncle. Listen, the man of the house in each generation must choose to make the Lord the head of his house. Why? Because if he doesn't, a generation of his descendants will arise, will come after him, who don't know the Lord and don't acknowledge what the Lord has done for them. And we see that even in this, because if you flip over to Judges chapter 2, verse 10, in chapter 2, verse 10, it says, a generation arose who didn't know the Lord, Another translation says, who didn't acknowledge the Lord and what he had done for them. These were Joshua's final words. We don't know what our final words are going to be because we don't know when our final day is going to be. But may we be living this message, a life that fears and serves God. May people be able to look at you and me and say, man, there goes a man, there goes a woman, man, who fears God, who serves God with all their heart, exclusively. Their life is not divided between two passions. They have a master passion, and that passion is the Lord. Now, listen, these other things that we like to do, maybe you have a hobby that you like to do, a thing that you enjoy. I want to tell you this today, that if you put the Lord Jesus Christ at the center of that, it's going to be much more rewarding, and it's going to make much more lasting impact in the people around you. Choose today to fear the Lord. Choose today to serve the Lord. And lead your family, man. Man of the house. Make sure that the Lord is the head of the house. And you model that for your people, man. And you teach your people the word. Because you want your descendants to know the Lord. Man, my heart would be crushed. My heart would be crushed if I knew that my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren didn't know the Lord and didn't acknowledge him. Man, it would crush me. It would break my heart. And so on my watch, I'm going to do the most possible to make sure that my kids know the Lord, that my household is serving the Lord, and my grandkids as well, and on and on. Make your last words the most important words. What is that? You encourage those around you to fear God and serve God. Let that be your message. The Lord loves you. I love you too. Praying for you. Asking that you please be praying for me as well. Man, I salute y'all. God bless you. And have a great weekend.